Welcome everyone to our AI show and tell. Our special guest speaker is John Forfar. Tina Emperor here with Geeks on the Beach. I'm going to turn it over to Liam of Pioneer Adventures, and Nikhil is also here from Pioneer Adventures. They're curating today's session and help find the speaker for us, John Forfar. Liam, I'll turn it over to you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Tina, for the wonderful welcome message. So, hi, everyone. My name's Liam from Bioneer Ventures, and I'm a community builder in the tech and startup spaces in Davao. Glad to co host this event and to also really start this regular cadence of just gathering different geeks to online to talk about AI and really show different projects on what you're doing uh, and really telling the story of what you're making and how you're creating the impact. So, with that being said, please welcome John Forfar from OpenXAI, and he helps developers build on decentralized cloud and artificial intelligence, creating hand-on tool demos and templates that make open permissionless AI easier to use. So, John, the virtual stage is yours.
Awesome. Thanks, Liam. I guess I'll do a quick introduction about myself. I'll just present my slides and won't be boring you too long with slides. Again, I'll do some demos. Just a quick update about myself. Basically, I've been building in tech my whole life after school. Always been studying and completed, a couple of degrees in tech and business, my two areas of interest. And then I'm now currently working as OpenXAI developer relations, so working with developers, onboarding them into open source AI. And I'll explain more about what that is later in the call today. Let's get stuck into it. I've been studying with technology and business for the last, probably 15 years. I've nearly finished a Master of Computer Science, Artificial Intelligence, but a quick one on the story of sort of what I've done throughout my career, my background. So I worked on a few years in the military, working on the telecommunications sort of sector of that military, the government. And then I moved into mining, where I was working on improving network infrastructure for autonomous trucks and haulage, where you have to improve the IT systems so that trucks can driverlessly navigate around a mining pit and collect iron ore. So these are the huge dump trucks that are, hundreds of tons in weight that drive around. And then I moved into, after the mining sort of stint, I was completing my MBA in business. And then I got to, at the end of that MBA, got to travel to Silicon Valley and see what the whole culture was like. For only 2 weeks, so it was a subject in San Francisco, and we got to take a couple of lectures at Stanford, then tour the Tesla Fremont factory to see all the robot automation. Went to LinkedIn headquarters and got presented from their data analytics lead about how they do data analytics at LinkedIn, and then also went to the Salesforce headquarters to see how their operations run. So it was a really rewarding study. And then moved on to basically the network and telecommunications sector was getting taken over by code. So I really wanted to become a developer and spent basically the last sort of 10 years upskilling from network infrastructure and or cross-skilling over to software development. And then focusing on artificial intelligence for probably since 2021 in AI. I also got into Web3. So I founded the Solana Australia community in Australia. And yeah, basically built that up into the Solana ANZ that it is today and handed that over to Salim. The where I work now is OpenX AI, and it sort of blends my two interests together. It's a decentralized AI protocol, and I'll explain more on what that is and then what I'm building currently day to day. So, okay. So the thing that I'm really passionate about is 100% open source AI. So taking the power away from the big tech monopoly, whether that's AWS, Google, Azure, or just ChatGPT in general. Those big tech companies shouldn't rule a whole tech industry vertical like artificial intelligence. I do think AI is like one of the most powerful inventions in the technology space at the moment and probably will be in the future. So I'm really keen to push open source AI development. I can show you what all of this looks like, and it's probably the better way to do it. But here's some examples of open source AI models. You've probably heard of DeepSeek, which is one of the first AI open source models that disrupted the whole industry and caused a lot of the shares to decrease in price. There's like hundreds of billions of dollars of investment in the US AI industry. And then someone came along, built a model for $10 million, and then that disrupted it when it was released to the public. It was sort of comparable to the frontier models of the time. Since then, it's sort of forced OpenAI, ChatGPT, to release an open source model, which is positive. There's obviously models released by Meta or Facebook called Llama. And then, there's European models. There's people contributing to open source models all around the world. Probably about 30% is the stat I got a couple of days ago is contributed by China. So a lot of companies like DeepSeek in China are pushing open source. In general, a lot of the US companies are closed source, so they don't release all the weights, how to build the model, how it's trained, everything like that. So yeah, I'll just quickly get out of the presentation and go to a couple of these websites that I really want to show people who want to get into it. So you should be able to see alama.com on my page. It's got a llama as a mascot. But basically, you chat and build with open source models that you run on your own laptop. So you can run it on your own laptop. And what OpenXAI does lets you run these Llama models on top of the cloud, on a decentralized bare metal cloud. So everything you build and develop locally, you can actually do the same thing and do it in a cloud environment. Everything in OpenXAI is fully open source. There's no middlemen or any technology that someone charges a fee for. And what that does, it basically translates into a lot cheaper app building for if you're building an AI space. So yeah, when you go to Llama, you can download and run it locally. And this is where all these models I was showing you before can be looked for. If you want anything from optical character recognition, which is something I downloaded today. If you want to scan PDFs and convert it to images and then use an AI model to process the image, especially when the PDF's encrypted and things, you can use a DeepSeek OCR model to do that. If you want a coding model, you can find an open source model like Qwen3 Coder, and then you can do coding with that as well. And I sort of go through all these combinations, test them out, and then I stick them on my YouTube channel just so people can actually see some of the good recommendations that I find in the open source community. So again, what do I do day to day? I do record videos and then put them up online. So you can see here, one of the good, pretty sizable views is the cursor alternative, because people in the Philippines don't want to pay $20 a month for a coding assistant. So there is ways where you can do this absolutely free. And you just run, for example, run Qwen3 Coder locally using a llama, then run VS Code, and then plug it in with an extension called RU Code. And I sort of run through that here in this video to set it up. So yeah, really helping out a lot of people that in Philippines are sort of they can't afford to pay for these $20 a month. It might sound affordable in the US, but when you convert that to pesos, it does add up. So yeah, whenever I run workshops in Philippines, I always try and teach people about open source, and that's basically one of the big things I do in DevRel is teaching people about open source AI and sort of letting them know about all the different communities that are out there. The other one I wanted to quickly show is just Hugging Face. So let me just search for that and load up their site. So this one here, this is where there's 2.2 million open source models listed. So you just go to huggingface.co models, and then you can actually see all these models that people like developers at home, AI enthusiasts upload to the world. And then everyone can sort of download all these models. We only work with the ones that make they're at the top in terms of ranking, and then they get put onto a llama platform, which is a way to run it locally. So we work with, say, the top 200 to 300 AI models, not all 2.27 million models, which is up here. But yeah, there's heaps of different models. If you want to track humans on a CCTV video footage, there's a model for that. It's kind of like the old App Store where there's a model for that. So people take data in, it could be hundreds of thousands of images. They train an AI model, and then they upload the model into, say, Hugging Face directory. And this is basically what I'm trying to convey here is how big the open source AI community is. And it's very powerful. You don't have to just use, ChatGPT and pay a fortune for that. You can use all these free models and just have to learn how to run them locally. Obviously, you can run it if you just want to build a chatbot and talk to it. But there's obviously AI applications, which I'll also demo as well, where you can use AI to help process things for your own benefit as well, and build an app that you could potentially charge money and make a business out of. Let me know if I'm talking too quickly. I want to try and talk clearly. The other benefits of open source AI is no vendor lock-in. So again, if you build something on Azure, and this is an experience from a client I had in Melbourne in Australia, they were paying $200 a month to spin up a Postgres database, which is literally an open source database standard, but they're paying $200 a month to run it. And that's ridiculous. So with OpenX AI, you can actually get that right down to the bare metal price of renting a server with nothing on it. And you can, get that for like $10 a month, the same thing. So it's crazy the amount of markup these big cloud providers are charging. And basically you just have to learn a little bit around deploying it on bare metal to cut the costs right down. Another benefit, and this is the last benefits, but basically you can run all these models locally on your laptop. And for those that are out in the provinces, they can actually run AI on their own computer. They might be working on an assignment. Maybe they're stuck on the bus rides that may go for 6 hours. I just got back from Butuan to Davao, and that's a 6-hour drive, but the bus takes 9 hours and very patchy 1 bar LTE internet the whole way through. So you really want to, if you need AI, maybe you're doing some university assignment to help you as a study buddy or helping process a bunch of spreadsheet data. Yeah, you can actually be productive using AI even in the bus, as long as your laptop's got power. Because you can download that AI model onto your laptop using a llama and then talk to that model all the way through on that bus trip. So that's really helpful for people that have internet or even just patchy internet. So just going through like this whole open source versus closed source. It's basically a battlefield, I like to call it, where yeah, closed source, you're essentially renting the intelligence. So you're literally paying a middleman cloud provider to get intelligent responses back. And you might be, if you're building an actual startup or business using AI, you're processing like hundreds of documents a day or something worth of text, then it could be, you could be spending like a couple of $100 a month or even thousands of dollars a month for AI. And that's something that people just can't afford. If you're running a business, you're trying to keep costs low, especially when you can do it for like 80 to 90% cheaper. The other one is if it's open source, you can actually audit everything about the model. You can look at who trained it, if they are willing to, the data set that goes into the training. You can see the weights of the model, and you can basically look at the open source sort of Hugging Face profile of that model, look at the Alarma page, look at reviews. People spend time investigating these models, testing it, making sure there's no weird biases to certain questions. So yeah, the open source community is kind of keeping everyone honest, and statistically you'd have a better chance of running open source model without all those biases and things. I have been running, let me just refresh this. I have been running events all across Davao and Mindanao. So let me just refresh that and just get the pictures to load. But basically, we've been in Digos, Butuan, Marble, Davao, Bukidnon. So we've been running events all over the place, basically in Mindanao, in hand with Davao DeFi community to help organize. And it's been pretty fantastic to help train and teach maybe university students or college students about the AI industry, and just making sure that, there is probably a 30% gap of the whole industry is running open source models. So it's something that probably people don't hear about. They just think about ChatGPT or Gemini and that's it. But there is a whole world there. Just quickly, so I can show you something. We did run a little hackathon, which is something else I do day to day, where people were vibe coding or just using the English or Bisaya or Tagalog language to talk to an AI and then output some code and build a mini app, which is just a lightweight app. So I'll just quickly show you all the type of apps that people have been building. So you can see here we have over 1,100 apps built in the last 2 weeks from students all over the world, but also mostly in Philippines. And basically teaching them, what it's all about. And I can just sort of show you maybe an example of some of these games. So I'll just pick Cyber Hockey. All of this is using AI to generate open source code that's published here on GitHub. And then it shows you all the way you configure the app to actually run on bare metal servers, which is using NixOS, Linux operating system. And yeah, you can actually see all the code that these thousands of apps have been vibe coded and built by students. We obviously tell them this when they're building it, and yeah, they're all happy to build in open source. And we obviously had a competition where they get rewards for the best quality apps. But essentially, what we're looking at here is NixOS configuration files, and this is how you deploy onto bare metal. And yeah, this is the example of very simple config. This deploys a whole application, and it imports some other Nix modules. So I'll just quickly explain what that is. And if you just go to Nix in the folder, so this is at github.com/miniapp-factory, which is here on GitHub. And you can look at the packages, and what we're looking for here, once it loads, is you're looking at a whole bunch of Python imports, maybe it's Next.js imports. There's some configuration about setting up the home page, and yeah, just setting up a port. Nix packages, yeah, Node.js. So very simple. There's some server config, but yeah, other than that, you can see how simple it is my point. Nix OS, you just have a small config file. You can deploy a whole website, and all of this can be used. You can generate the config files through AI and deploy it. So it's not fully loaded, but yeah, basically they've described a prompt, which I think you can see here as well. So Pong. So here's the prompt. So this actually shows you the prompt that the student made. Again, this is all open source. It's stored in the GitHub. So I built this dashboard so you can like pull that data in and just quickly show it. So someone was, experimenting. They've created a Pong prompt, and then they were able to deploy that in one hit. You can, reset your app, which is probably what they did to get a one prompt shot. But yeah, basically they built this game. All of these apps are sort of minted as NFTs as well. So if you want to have control to edit the app, it's actually the ownership is assigned to the wallet holder that has the NFT. And these are all listed on OpenSea as well. So I can display that. Let's have a look. Yeah, so you can see here all these apps are listed. Yeah, so I have basically all the NFTs I can see on OpenSea. Again, open source, it's on the blockchain as well. So all of the app owners, they got given, when they created their app, their mini app using vibe coding, they get issued an NFT for that app. And whoever has control in that wallet that connects to the mini app factory can actually edit the app. So what this means is you can build an AI, like an app, like a game, or maybe it's a Pong game, or there's like lots of people playing. Let me just load this up again, and I'll load the other one up as well. It's just, I had VPN on before. Whoever holds this NFT in their wallet can edit the app. So what that means is you can actually sell your business. So if you had a Pong game and it had thousands of users and it gets deployed to a URL, you can actually build up the business idea, the app, and then sell it on OpenSea. Whoever holds control of it can edit the actual app. So this is the kind of sort of innovations we're working on OpenXAI front. And then just checking this. Oh yeah, so Pong does work. The buttons weren't showing before. Here it is. So yeah, basically someone, a uni student built this. And there's a lot more advanced games as well. But yeah, I just wanted to show you. Now, going back to the actual slides. So one of the other things I can show you is the demo of deploying a chatbot using a fully open source cloud stack. We do have some we do have some like 10 servers pre-deployed. And what that means is you can actually deploy any of these models really quickly on the server. So I just wanted to quickly run over that. You can deploy apps on bare metal, which means there's no operating system, there's no AWS front end or GCP or Azure or any middleman software layer or UI or CLI. Is literally just talking to the Linux operating system that you just installed on the bare metal server, which is literally just CPU memory storage. And you can sort of pick through all the different cloud providers all around the world. One of the things I wanted to do is work with local Mindanao data center providers, which there isn't many. I think PLDT is the main one, and then Converge is coming maybe. So I'm just going to work with them and try and basically have the ability for people in Mindanao or Davao region to be able to deploy on their own Mindanao-based data center and keep all the data locally there. Obviously, right now, when you spin up something on AWS, you might deploy it in Houston or Singapore or maybe Manila. But it's even possible because if anyone can run a bare metal server like a data center, a building with aircon and power that's constant, there's bare metal providers all around the place, especially even there's two potentially, definitely one in Davao that has it. So I'll be hitting them up to add them to this list. But it's an example of running everything locally on the server, whether it's on your computer or on a server that's bare metal, you can actually control the whole app design and keep it all local. So I just wanted to show that as well. Anyway, so you pick that. We'll just run through this because this isn't the main demo I wanted to do. But basically, you let that run. What it's doing, it's got a hardware computer that's got CPU, memory, and storage. It's then installing the Nix fork or the Nix OS operating system that we call Xnode OS on top. Once you have the operating system, you connect to it, and then you install application packages. So while that's loading, I'll just show you nixos.org. So this is an operating system on Linux. You go down here, and I showed you the Nix config files, but basically what that means is it's reproducible, declarative, and reliable. So whatever's in that config gets hashed, and when you deploy it, it deploys the application packages, and if it detects that it changed, the hash is different, and it basically fails the deployment. So it's a secure way to deploy a config with you knowing that it doesn't get changed during the deployment. And yeah, super reliable. It's reproducible. So I can take something off of Davao's bare metal server, put it on a Manila bare metal server. I never had to touch any other cloud provider to do that, other than just the raw wholesale computer server costs. And then, yeah, there is all these Nix packages. So if I want to install Olama, which is what I mentioned before, I just search for it, and then here's Olama. So I can like run Olama on top of that Nix OS operating system. If I want Python, I search for that, and then Python 3.14 is here, 3.11, whatever. So you just take all these Lego blocks and build your application, and it's super quick. So we'll just let this load. In the background, those application packages I was talking about is Open Web UI, which is a front end, just like ChatGPT. Olama is the model manager in the back end, which essentially runs the open source model. And this model was 1.5 gigs, or sorry, 1.1 gigs. So it's just pulled that model and now it's ready to go. So you open it up, it's deployed it to a new URL. So you can see that deployed in like 2 minutes because it's literally just installing Linux as fast as possible, the application packages as fast as possible, and it's running. So I just did a full cloud deployment, fully open source, in like less than 2 minutes. We'll just let this load. So it's signing into Open Web UI. And essentially, this is a chatbot front end. And yep, it's loading. Okay, so I've just installed the DeepSeek AI model on my own private server. And essentially, I've got control of this server on the studio.openxal.org demo. for the next 30 minutes. If I want to obviously rent a server somewhere else, I can and spend that $5 a month or whatever to get it. So, and then I'll just prove that it is real. So, how many gigs fit at a beach party? This will give some silly answer because there's obviously this LLM is not. This is a trick question. This is trained on like an open source LLM model. It's DeepSeek R1, and it's trained on stuff like Wikipedia. So it's obviously not going to be answer this. Let's see if it actually has a sense of humor. And it's going to struggle to answer this, but we'll see what it comes up with. But yeah, as you can see, it's a fully working app with a front end, a back end, an AI model in the background, and then obviously I can log in and use it. It's a functioning app at a public URL address, and anyone can sort of use this demo to see what it looks like. At a typical beach party, there are 50 attendees. Could be anywhere between 0 to about 12. It's pretty dry, no sense of humor, but whatever. I'll prompt it later for a sense of humor. But that's an example of a super basic chatbot AI app deployment. So yeah, I just wanted to quickly show that some of the benefits. You don't need to use KYC, email, credit card, or agree to terms of service. It's all sort of decentralized. You can just connect and away you go. The other stuff that I've been working on is more advanced apps. So that was an example of a basic app. I just wanted to quickly show you and show you what else I've been working on. So this is an example of it's called transparencyseal.com. So if you go to, let me just load this up. So let's say CMU University. So Central Mindanao University. Every public institution in the Philippines, they're sort of required by this Section 102 Act to have their financial records available publicly. So you can actually go to all of these websites and download all their financial statements. So I'll just show you again what that is. And it looks like this, which is pretty bad. Can you guys see that there? So if you were to look at this, you'd just be like, this is crap. I don't want to read all this. This doesn't make any sense. I don't want to hire an accountant, blah, blah, blah. So what I built in one of those vibe coding workshops I run on YouTube, but this one was at the actual USM University. We are able to start building this project up. And I've basically bought the domain Transparency Seal, because that's what, the actual legal name of it is in the Philippines. And what I can do is I've ingested all of those PDF files. I've used open source models like DeepSeek OCR to convert the PDFs into images. I then scan it and pull all the data off. I then ingest it into an open source Postgres database, and then I can build, basically dashboards that show you and try to explain what's going on with all the money for all these government institutions. So with this, I was able to produce a breakdown of all these PDFs and put it into a financial dashboard so people can actually understand what's happening. Let's see if this works, because I was playing around with it. Hopefully it works. I just added this feature before the call as well. But yeah, the ability to select different open source models and then try and analyze the data. So let's see if this loads. Maybe there is some bugs, but yeah, I'll keep working on it. But yeah, this is transparencyseal.com. And this may take some time. I'm just working on how to optimize it. So this is an example of something I'm working on currently, a bit of a passion project. The next one I'm going to pull data from is not the universities, but obviously I think it's called public roads. What is it called? What's the public roads, Philippines? So these are the real ones I want to shine some light on with their financial records, just everything that's open on their website. So if we can actually find it, yeah, DPWH, Department of Public Works and Highways, and they've got all of their documents available under the transparency seal. So this is obviously where the big corruption was happening. Apparently 90% of all their budget was allocated to public road, like flood control. And this is the flood control scandal. And basically, I'm just trying to build a giant AI dashboard that can dive into all of their financial records. And the reason I'm not trying to expose it or anything. I'm just trying to have people be able to navigate through and understand where the money goes, which projects it goes to, and then they can obviously make other things. They can make their own decisions and follow up accordingly. But yeah, basically, this is sort of the stuff I've been working on. And yeah, I've got it set up. I've ingested two Transparency Seal websites, so obviously two universities, and you can sort of pull that data in and have a look. But yeah, once I add the public roads one, that's going to be the good one for me, because I'll be able to do some cool YouTube videos just walking through the data visually instead of like showing this crap on a YouTube video. No one will ever look at this. They'll click off. But if you put it in a nice dashboard, you can really understand it and make it interactive for people to play with. Yeah, so is there any questions with some of those projects I've been working on?
Hey, John, I'm just gonna
Yes.
jump in this one.
Sure.
Sorry. Uh, we're gonna go into the Q&A. It's already time check. It's already 8:45. I see that there's a lot of questions in the chat. So, Sven, would you like to unmute your
Hi.
mic?
Hey, come
Hi,
again.
Sven.
Yeah. Hi, great to meet you again. Okay. If I may ask, I just opened the page Transparency Seal, and I find that super interesting to see this. So the first question is that currently that's only available for one university, right?
Yeah, two universities, so USM and CMU. Yeah,
Okay.
Central Mindanao and Southern Mindanao.
Are you planning to expand that, like getting an overview of all the universities in the Philippines?
So all government departments. So there's like 4 different types of government institution or categories of the entities in the government. So there's universities that are publicly funded. There's there's government departments like the public roads. And then, there's a couple other categories. So there's quite a lot of organizations. I just ran these demos at 2 universities I was presenting at, and then obviously wanted to move that quickly into the public roads sort of scandal and shine light
Cool,
there.
yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, that's
yes,
cool.
the idea. Yeah.
It's nice. And I would like to ask one more question. So I have a language training school here in the Philippines, and we're working with blink learning. When I see the analysis of the data, it reminds me of the blink learning. And my question would be, because I also like data a lot and analyzing it, but we have everything on Excel and is it how can I do that for my own data? Like for example, I have several groups and how can I combine that? So like the method that you use for transparency seal, is that possible or is it open source or how could I use that?
Yeah, I'm just working on it in the background. It's kind of a passion side project, but yeah, I will be open sourcing it once I get all my like chicken feed sort of README files and things updated so it actually looks presentable. Um, so yeah, that's something I'll definitely do. It will be open source for sure. I'm also working on so this is really a public goods use case of an AI application with public data. So I'm actually building, this is probably the last demo I can quickly show. I know that we're running out of time. But yeah, basically this is, I don't know if you can see it, but basically all of the infrastructure I've been spinning up in the background to basically help run that that AI application. So there's a server for inference and creating embeddings. There's an app server as well that actually runs the application, transparencyseal.com. And what I'm trying to do is have the application server here, and then in a decentralized way, it actually talks to the AI inference servers and uses all those models that people can host. It's something. This is not an official OpenX AI, but basically this is a prototype. And what I'm hoping to do is have it so I can keep driving the cost down of AI inference. So you basically have looks like gossip's failing. Oh, there it is. So basically, you can have all of these nodes talking to each other in a decentralized way. They're sort of incentivized to host different AI models like these. I think you said something about language learning, did you? So there is all these AI models specifically for languages, even dialects in the Philippines and Southeast Asia. So definitely building AI, because I'm trying to learn Tagalog and Bisaya. So one of those apps will be like a Duolingo app that will use AI to help teach me the language day to day.
I'm here for that too.
Yeah.
As soon as there is something like that.
Yeah, so this is really the hardcore stuff. So this is trying to figure out how do you get a secure inference node that's token incentivized, and then having app servers use that in a decentralized, trustless way, and then have it so that people can't just, run a model on the network that's, fake or like a modified model that's insecure. Maybe they got some spamware in there or malware or something. So I'm just working on that. Obviously, I'll just build this up as a prototype. I work with OpenX AI engineering to hand that off. I'm the developer relations, so I just build up all these prototypes, and then whatever sticks and becomes a real production model. You can obviously see where this is going. But yeah, basically, if I can get this running, and this is really what I'm working on from day to day, then I think this will be really powerful. The other thing is data nodes, or the app node can store all of those PDFs off of their website, but it can actually do it in a secure way where when you ingest a PDF off of the government website, it uses IPFS, which I can run on the local node, which I am. I can actually pin that PDF saying it was just downloaded from the real website, it's verified, and then hash it so it can't be changed, so it's immutable. There is a group doing that in Manila called DBM, but it's not fully ready yet, so I'm just going to build it myself and then basically get that running, and then it will be a public good, so anyone can access the PDFs. It's hosted on IPFS, a local node. Anyone can use AI inference. They maybe have to pay a small fee for it. And then anyone can build an AI application and join that data set and the AI models together and do whatever they want. And obviously you can do the same thing for hundreds of textbooks in Tagalog learning or Bisaya learning or whatever the other dialect is. I forgot what it's called. Something with a W. It's really rare. But yeah, there's like all these other languages that you can ingest all the texts. It is using RAG. One of the questions was, is it RAG? Yes, it is. So it's using Llama, which is open source. And if you read their documentation, they do have, how to set it up for RAG, and then also how to connect it to a Postgres database with PG vector, so it can basically index and store all that data. So yeah, it's a way that the AI model can actually read and understand the data set using RAG. So
Awesome.
I think I've got a couple of more questions in the chat as well.
Yep, I can see a few more questions in the chat. Chad, do you want to unmute to ask your question, or would you like me to read? All right, I will read. So Chad asks, when giving data to the LLM, do you use RAG, or how do you give the AI the data?
So yeah, basically you ingest it. So it's using RAG. You can use different ways to ingest, but essentially PG vector, you process the data. It then generates embeddings using an embedding model. So there's an open source model for that as well. So Qwen3 dash embeddings is one that you can find on Llama. And then once it's ingested as an embedding, it gets stored as a vector in the database using the PG vector Postgres extension. And that's it. So all of that's on the Llama docs. It's a pretty common thing. Like I was working on a RAG database like 2 years ago, so it's definitely common. Yeah, and then I've got another question. I'm just reading it, but did you use AI to summarize the spreadsheet? So basically, what it's doing, it's scanning. So PDFs are traditionally tricky to just plug into an AI. It has to be converted because of encryption of the file format. So you can basically use image scanners that scan each page and convert it into a JPEG or PNG. Then you ingest all the data, the tabular data on that. It then gets converted into a big, all the text gets converted, and then from there it gets ingested and processed. So yeah, basically all the data goes in. We don't summarize. I just did that this morning though. So basically, a good way to help search through all of that data is to have all the data set here, and then you group the PDF that gets scanned, you use AI to look at all that ingested data and figure out, give me a summary. And what I do is actually have a paragraph summary of the whole, financial record, annual record, and then I basically summarize it, and then that's what I use to search through all the different PDFs if the AI is looking for an answer. So that's a helpful sort of metadata for all the PDFs. The other metadata I've put is the right here on the website. It actually breaks it down into categories. So financial record for 2025, first quarter, second quarter, third quarter. So this is a category. So if I want to look for financial reports of 2025, then it will have that in the metadata. It'll have summary of each PDF, and then it will go into the PDF and then start looking through it when it's doing its search. So yeah, all of this will be open source. I've got the repo private. I'll clean it up and make it open source. But this is a pretty standard thing you can ask when you're vibe coding, you can ask your friendly chatbot to build a RAG chatbot and it will do it.
There's also a follow-up question from Sir Dom. How much human was in the loop, John?
Yeah, so I'm building it up as an app now. The idea is there's no middleman. So essentially, in the future, if I can, obviously there's this transparencyseal.com app website that I've sort of handcrafted together. But at the same time, I'm setting up all the infrastructure nodes behind it. And in the future, you will be able to, as an AI app builder, connect to all those different types of nodes and yeah, basically build an AI application where essentially you're just paying some small amount of money to rent, or you can either rent your own servers or use these other nodes for inference and pay a very small fee, as small as possible. So again, fully open source stack, wholesale bare metal compute. So we're driving the costs right down. And this is sort of helps startups scale as well, because the biggest cost is not the first 3 months, because AWS and Google give you the 3 months of cloud credits, and you think you're having a good time, and then you get a $25,000 US bill from AWS. This has actually happened to another startup, and they go under. So when you're building on bare metal, you just have to add another server, which is literally just CPU, memory, and storage in a box, and just rent another server. So it's pretty scalable in terms of cost as well. So sorry, the answer was, did you cut out all the humans? Right now, I'm still helping build my app, but once all the infrastructure is sort of deployed and in production, anyone can build an app and just connect to it. If you're talking about the transparency seal, I've built an automated scraper that can sort of scan the transparency seal URL on each government website. So I could sort of cut out a lot of the heavy lifting in terms of scaling it up to other government departments as well.
Okay. Doing a small time check. It's already 8:59. I think we can. Oh, go ahead, Tina. Oh, all right. It is 8:59. We're gonna take in a few more questions. I do see a few still active questions in the chat. So considering the time, uh, please do also consider connecting with John and for a bit more conversations. We might stay a little bit after the hour. But to help top things off and to really ask the final question, let me call in one of the founders for Biennial Ventures, Nikhil and Tao, to ask the final question.
Great. Thanks, everyone. And thanks for everyone's attention. And thank you very much, John, for this evening's session. I know it's late for a lot of folk and everyone's juggling schedules, but it's great that we could all make it here. So I don't know if this is the final question, because I'm sure you've sparked off quite a few other questions for a lot of people in this group, especially for me. I mean, Transparency Seal, amongst other things, were new to me. But for the people attending tonight, some of them have specific ideas they're working on and they're building, and others are still in exploration mode, trying to figure out what's possible with AI and open source AI at that. So I'd like to know, what is your advice if one of the attendees and anyone who should listen to these future recorded sessions could develop one specific skill or habit after tonight's session to future-proof their AI journey and AI building journey, what should that focus be on?
Yeah, I say it's to learn the underlying tech stack of AI. So open source AI, I keep talking about it, but it forces you to figure out what is actually running under the hood. And what that does, it brings a lot of benefits of just understanding the costs, how much all these cloud providers are charging me. as a developer, though, you can certainly use Gemini, use Chat GPT, whatever you want. But if you're trying to build an AI application, just like a dashboard or whatever, you sort of have to start learning under the hood. The reason I say that is if you just go, Chat GPT, get an OpenAI key, and then start building an app that ingests and starts translating all the PDFs across the Philippine government, it's going to cost you a fortune, and the project will just fail. So we don't want to see that. But if you can do it in a scalable way, the good thing now is if I start running a script that ingests 10 websites of PDFs at a time, I'm limited by the CPU, memory, and storage of my one box that I'm renting. And it'll just run at 99% CPU usage, and it doesn't really matter. I'll just let it run slowly, and I don't really care. I also don't get charged for overusing the CPU or overusing the storage and all this other stuff. So it's sort of a lot more efficient way to do it. So yeah, basically understanding, don't just use an external API key, start figuring out what inference is, what servers you can run to use inference. You can actually run a lot of these open source models on CPU, so you can get the costs down again. It's just slower. And there's all these open source models optimized for CPU coming out as well. If you want to do like text to voice or voice to text, you can actually use a whole bunch of new models that do it really affordably on CPU, which is like half the price or quarter of the price of GPU server rentals. But yeah, if you don't understand that, you won't even know, and then you'll just have this problem where you have huge cloud bills and then your startup fails. The other advice, I'm not being a shill, but there's one video here. So I talked about the hackathon winners of Australia, and then the global hackathon winners are getting announced soon. There was 120 Filipinos participating in the global hackathon. But if you click that video here, you can sort of see the 7 winners announced for Australia. All of those people are in the same spot as what you just said. So we had all these, we talked to all of these people. I'm just trying to show the actual products that they might have built. Yeah. So here's us interviewing all these students, and then they basically got a prize-winning entry in the hackathon, and they got announced as winners at the end of this video. And then I'm just saying this example because if you go back, the exact question that you just asked, here's one of the winners. They called up and had exactly the same workshop mentoring session where they're like, hey, John, I've got some ideas, but I don't know how to build it. How do I start? What do I do? And I just sort of teach them how to install Node, Cursor. These aren't even developers, by the way. So they're just vibe coding their way through to building one of the winning apps of the hackathon. There's another one here. This is this is the first place winner. One was a coder, the other one I don't think she was. But they built a meal deals app. And you can actually see the mentoring and all those similar questions back here. And then when you get to the current winners, they were the number 1 winner of the Australia Hackathon. So if you just watch a couple of those videos, you can really sort of understand the mindset of going from an idea all the way through to building it and then actually having a winning app at the end.
Okay,
All
great.
right.
Thanks for the advice for everyone. Liam, I'll let you take over. I just wanted to thank John in the meanwhile for sharing his advice. And it looks like going hands-on is the way forward for anyone that wants to build their AI and future-proof their AI skills. So break shit, fix it, and don't be afraid to move forward with picking any of the tools that John has mentioned tonight, and taking cue from any of the videos on his YouTube channel that he's highlighted, amongst others that you might learn something from. I'll hand over to Liam. Thanks once again, John.
Thanks,
All right.
Nikhil.
Thank you, Nikhil. I'm just going to try to channel my inner Tina on how we like close these different events. So thank you guys for coming to our AI show and tell. Thank you again, John, for being our first person uh, to be featured in an AI show and tell. And we are really hopefully uh, looking to continue this normal cadence, this type of ritual uh, starting next year, January 2026. And just to note that some folks here may have to drop off by the hour, but those who can stay, we can stay a bit for like 5 to 10 more minutes more for more casual conversations. Assuming John, you're also here for good for like 5 to 10 more minutes.
Yeah, sure. If there's still questions, let me know.
Tina, how's that one? Okay, Tina, how was I channeling the inner Tina?
That was amazing. That was great. Thank you, John. Everyone, if you have questions, go ahead and ask. It is kind of late, but I also wanted to say that we have a placeholder for the next event. So first of all, thank you for tonight, and then have a happy holiday, everyone. Our next event is going to be in January. I had a placeholder of January 14. We don't have a speaker yet, so if you have any suggestions, but I know Nikhil and Liam got that squared away. I don't have any questions. Do you guys have any questions?
I've got one.
Go ahead.
When is the beach event? Because I want to go. So.
Oh, all right. So officially, I want to invite everyone to Geeks on a Beach. So this is our 9th year. We are in the planning stage. I have a date for you. It's October 7 to 9, 2026. So we have a date. We are fundraising and we have some internal goals that we need to meet. We want to raise 3 million pesos by the end of January. We are a nonprofit organization. And if you have a company and you want to have a more visible presence, we're happy to work with you to make sure you can meet your marketing goals or recruitment goals or whatever it is that you need to do for business. It's our 9th year, and last year it was in Cebu, 2 years, and this year we're looking at other places, maybe Luzon. We don't know yet, so we're looking for sponsors. Just reach out to us, but just make sure you're on the mailing list. Geeksonabeach.com, October 7 to 9, 2026. And John and everyone, you're all invited. It's an open conference. Sven, you have a question?
Thank you. Liam, Nikhil, I wrote that, or Tina, I wrote that in the message that I sent to you. Is it okay to ask this?
Okay
So
to ask.
I will just go ahead. Okay. So I
Yeah.
had the pleasure to meet you guys in May last year, and I told you that I'm going to open German school, blah, blah, blah. No? So this is done. This is nearly finished. Right now, I'm in Davao, and I have one colleague here who is a published author on AI use in German, and his book is currently a bestseller. He's living in Davao as well. What we are planning to do is starting February, we want to roll out, and where is starting? But we want to roll that out in Southeast Asia, probably starting in the Philippines, is AI training. No? There is in the European Union, there is an ordinance which says if you want to use AI, you need to be licensed. My colleague is trainer, is licensed, and we can provide these AI certificates. And what I am basically looking for is like a chance if we could at some point get together, have a meeting, and maybe see how we could how if we could possibly work together in that. Okay. And John, if I may ask that question, what brings you to Mindanao? So maybe Nikhil, maybe Leah, maybe I just send you a Facebook message and maybe we could catch up on this. So we are definitely starting to do that in February, and it would be great to work together with you guys. And for John, my question is, what brings you to Mindanao, if I may ask that?
Yeah, I basically live in Australia and Philippines, but basically more Philippines now. So I'm sort of settling down into Davao. My wife's family is from Davao region, and my mum's side of the family, I'm half Filipino, is from Leyte, but I basically grew up in Australia. So I'm just keen to come across, and I really enjoy it in Philippines. And hopefully, some of these skills I've sort of learned over the years I can apply. I think one of the messages in the chat is about training more people in the Philippines to have AI literacy. Maybe that's for development or just usage, but I'm keen to get more AI builders. So not just people using AI and knowing how to prompt, but my big passion is getting people building incomes out of the AI businesses or websites that they launch. So
Great.
that's kind of my passion. Again, it's like business and tech together.
Thank you. Great to have you guys here. Or yeah, great to know that such people are here. Leon, John. Awesome.
Yeah,
Any
just a
others?
comment, Sven. There's a bunch of people that are doing AI events. So one of the feedback I got was that for our show and tell, we just call it for tech startups, for the tech startup community, because there's many kinds of AI. There's AI associations in Manila. So there's people
Uh-huh.
doing training and events all year round. So like, you know, everyone's trying to do something. Just make sure you're like clear about who your target audience is so that, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we're aiming at the universities and companies. Okay, great. I will look out for this more. Thank you very much.
Okay. Anything
Beautiful.
else? Liam, Nikhil, John?
Anyone that needs to drop off, I mean, by now, just feel free. This is kind of like an after hours, and including you, Tina. I know that it's been a long day for you as well. I'm in Manila today. I happen to be here, but I'm happy to sit around for this water cooler session. I have this talk tonight sparked so many thoughts around the hackathon that John that you talked about, and I mean it's kind of like mini hackathons. Is that what the word that you use for these mini builds or mini iterative?
Yeah. So we have mini apps, which is
Yeah, mini
a
apps, right?
term made famous by Base. They have Base mini apps that people can
Hmm.
use. They're lightweight mobile apps. But
Hmm.
I sort of talked about the advanced apps, which are all them hackathon winners before. So
Hmm.
and even the transparency seal.com dashboard, that's more of an advanced app. There's more features coming to that later, but yeah, there's two different types. So you can have mini apps, a very basic web-based app with minimal library imports, and then full-fledged Python or JavaScript apps that you can build out and that have databases and inference. So yeah, you can build anything basically. Um, like I said, everything's open source based, so you just have to figure out the libraries and frameworks and just build it up. And none of this has any rent-seeking middleman. It's literally just out there on YouTube or searching or just vibe coding as well.
I'm just wondering whether it makes sense to kickstart like a small initiative of pooling in mini app and anyone that's building a mini app to try and help them create a discovery platform for the Philippines. Just use this initiative and use tonight's talk as kind of like the fire starter for setting up. Setting up kind of like a way in which builders can discover one another, can, I mean, the same way Hugging Face has this, 2 million open, LLM, tools and APIs and plugins that are built on other people's work, and it's all open source. Building in public has become more important than ever before, and I think that the most challenging aspect of building a startup and something tangible right now is the talent issue. Figuring out which team to work with more than where to source funding, and this could provide that opportunity. In a way, Geeks on a Beach is that. It represents, in a way, the talent exchange. It represents, people who meet. There's Liam showing off his Geeks on a Beach T-shirt, and it is a way of just creating a virtual environment where a virtual water cooler space. And if this is something that OpenXAI might be interested in doing, I'd be happy to. This is what Biennial Ventures has been trying to do for the last 2.5 years. We even had an online community for a while, but it wasn't really channelized in a way where we were, it wasn't. It was a lot of effort to try and curate this community to bring these rituals in place. But if all it takes and all it is about is building and mini apps and putting them out there in an environment of abundance, then we could, for all this could set up a chain reaction within the Philippines, and we could have like our own little Hugging Face within the Philippines ecosystem to show what people are building and demonstrating. It allows you to tap into the talent spectrum, because the biggest issue in the Philippines isn't deal flow, if you ask me, especially where startup founding, and it is really talent flow, which is the bottleneck, because before you can get into deal flow, it is really about finding the trio, finding that hipster hacker, hustler combo, or trying to find, the right co-founder to run with. And yeah, I don't know. Somehow, a lot of this talk today made me think about how I think mini apps might be the way to go, and just to build and to have like a hackathon or a buildathon every week. It doesn't have to happen, and it could be self-hosted. Every province. Oh, were you saying something, John? Sorry, go ahead.
I was just thinking of all the work to run a hackathon.
Yeah,
So
that's
yeah, I definitely follow Geeks on a Beach. Have you guys got community channels set up somewhere that people can jump in on, or follow the Twitter account, everything like that?
Um, Tina here. So for Geeks on the Beach, most of our community is in the Philippines, John. So we actually are on Facebook,
Yeah.
and we have a Facebook group there, but it's not active. So we use a Startup PH, and then we created our LinkedIn group. And then if you wanted like small group conversations, we have the Goa Beach Club, which is what this series of events is for. So it's a paid membership thing. It's like $200 for a whole year of events. And I can send you the information, but it's more smaller community for those that are really serious about building and sharing, and being around builders, being around people that can inspire you. So the thing about Geeks on the Beach, John, is that it's it's a tech startup conference, but the biggest value, it's the biggest business development conference you could ever do. So for Sven, if they wanted to find partners, the I want to brag about Geeks on the Beach, but the people who need to be like the movers and shakers of the tech startup community are at Geeks on the Beach. And the reason being, what's the difference between Geeks on the Beach and the events in Manila? So it's a destination conference. So obviously we have it at a hotel by the beach. So there's the vibe that is informal, but we curate the event so that there's connections that happen before and after the event. So if you ever want to do anything in the Philippines in the tech startup space, or even outside of it, you go to Geeks on Beach, you'll eventually find someone who can help you connect you to the right high quality people, I should say. Because we've been doing it for, so it was our 8th year, right? So we have a general idea of who the movers and shakers are, not just the talkers, right? Obviously, we can't, we like to say it's high quality because you have to purposely plan a 3-day conference, buy a conference ticket, and take time off work to be there to do something. So it's a quality audience. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. Probably the other one is we obviously ran the global hackathons, and I had 120 plus students across Philippines there. So I keep building these dashboards for every single thing I do. But basically, we do have a builders Discord at OpenXAI. People do join that, and then they drop Philippine flag emoji so we can figure out where they're from. So that could be an option as well. The global hackathon finished, but yeah, here's the 121 Filipinos that were there. Most of them are in the group chat on the Discord as well, on the Discord server. So the link for that's at the top. But yeah, I can drop all these links later or whatever. Drop it in now. Again, all of these apps that were submitted, that was the count of how many apps got submitted. And then like all of these are open source repos that you can learn from as well. So
Right. If there
yeah.
was one group that you would post on FB, it would be the Startup PH group, because then you just post one or two things there, and then they'll eventually follow you.
Yeah, for sure. Okay,
yeah.
I'll join that. Yeah.
Yeah.
No worries. So is there two or just one? So Startups PH. Okay.
Startup PH, yeah, FB group.
All right, I'll check it out. Maybe you drop that link in the chat and then I can join it. And then I'll make a post in there. Thanks. Startup PH, 60,000 members. All right, I'll check it out.
I'm guessing. But it's usually
60,000?
there's all kinds of people there, but like the OGs, we're all in there. So bye everyone. See you next
Bye
time.
bye.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me. Bye.
Take care.